Hey everybody, come on in. It's Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We're up on YouTube and Facebook. I think everything's going good. The sound sounded good to me, the audio test, which is a lot of the reason why I'm playing that music right now. By the way, I made that music on a Music Maker app. I am quite the musician. No, that's a free app. You gotta use your own music. If you use licensed music, we learned this early on in Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We used to use Mr. Crowley as our theme song, but we learned right away we can't do that. That is not allowed. That is against the rules. And if you do that, they will throttle and shut down your video. So we had to stop using Mr. Crowley. Thanks, Helen. Helen says cool music. I did my best. That's what this free Music Maker app. So there's ways around it. There's workarounds. But I usually play that music just so I can get an audio test, like go out and make sure the stream is going good, make sure everything's live, and so I have time to share it. You know, please share. This is a live show, but it's just a little independent show. So, hi, John. John says, greetings, comrade. Hope you're doing all right. I'm doing great. You know, we're all Russians. We're all Russians. So, welcome, comrade. And come on in and let me know you're here. Take part in the show. Please comment. This is live and interactive. But what this is exactly what it sounds like. It's a conspiracy theory show. The title says it all. And we discuss literally anything in here. We've covered everything you can think of. Nothing is off limits. So come on in and please like and share. Tonight is a special episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill because I'm going to let my personal opinion off my chest a bit. And I've been holding back what I really feel about all that is going on right now until now. And I have put together a short video for you tonight explaining what I think and why we're going, and we're going to watch that together. And then we're going to talk about it and anything you want as usual. But again, like I said, no topic is off limits. Anything you want to talk about, any conspiracies at all, anything. We get into everything on this show and a little bit of every different conspiracy. And they all tie in together. We know that. But that's what this is. Hey, Heath. Hey, Paul. Good to see some people coming in. And like I said, participate in the show. Let me know. But here in a little bit, once I feel like we've given enough time for people to get in, we'll start the video. I made a short video. It's about 16 minutes long, explaining what I think is going on right now. But I want to hear from you guys. I always do. And anything at all, any conspiracy you guys want to get into, let me know. And we'll chase them down the rabbit holes. We always have fun and hang out for a good hour at least on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. So come on in. I'm waiting for Top Fan to get here. Is Paul working? Helen, where is Top Fan? How have we run off our Top Fan? If some of you don't know or aren't in on the joke, it's kind of an inside joke on the show, but Paul made himself Top Fan and gave himself a badge. And he's just somebody that's been around since the very beginning, and I was kind of waiting for Paul to get here for the video. But at the 10-minute mark, I'll start the video. If you're here watching later on and catching the show, go to around the 10-minute mark if you're wanting to get straight to the video. But we'll hang out and just talk. He says the coronavirus as a bioweapon. That's a good topic we can explore and get into. There's definitely something there. Helen says he's not working, probably chasing boobies. Well, you got to have your priorities straight, and it sounds like Paul does. So, hey, Dion, good to see a lot of people here. We got a good turnout on Facebook, and YouTube's up and running good. Good to see that. But I'm going to play the video that I made for you guys here in just a little bit. And I spent a lot of time making this video. I poured over it endlessly. I rewrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it. It took me a long time to get my thoughts straight about what's going on right now. It's actually a lot to get your head around what's happening. And I'm going to present my views and show you what I think is going on. and what I think is happening. And then we'll talk about it. We'll get it out there and see what you think. But come on in just a second. We're at about 8.5 minutes. I'm going to give a little bit more time, and looks like people are still coming in, and we'll show the video here in just about a minute. I'll switch the screen over to the film strip and we'll play our little video, and afterwards we'll hang out and talk about it. But let's see, I want to make sure everything's up and ready and that we don't have any issues with the video. It's been a little while since I played a video on. I don't think we've done a video since I got the new computer, because I had to learn a brand new video editing software and everything. I had to relearn how to do it, basically. So it's been a while since we've done a live video. So I just want to make sure all the settings are straight, especially since we've got a good group here, and that the video gets out. But this means a lot to me. And you may disagree with what I'm going to say in this video. You may disagree with my views, but I want to hear from you. This video is meant to, at the most, create discussion, create a dialogue, get people talking. What's going on right now is scary. It's frightening. And I did my best in this video to get my head around it. So I'm going to switch over the screen now and go to the screen capture set and come over here. This is my YouTube channel, Me on Things and Stuff. For those of you that are here on YouTube, you're kind of in a weird paradox right now. You're on YouTube watching the YouTube video from the channel that you're on. But this is the video I made for you guys. It's titled, We're Never Going Back to Normal. So we're going to watch this video really quick and hang out afterwards and talk about anything you want.
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died. Experts agree, unless it is quickly controlled, it could lead to a severe pandemic, an outbreak that circles the globe and affects people everywhere.
The mission of the Pandemic Emergency Board is to provide recommendations to deal with the major global challenges arising in response to an unfolding pandemic. The board is comprised of highly experienced leaders from business, public health, and civil society.
What we just watched there in that clip isn't current news, even though it is frighteningly similar to current events. No, what that clip was from is a pandemic tabletop exercise that was held on October 18th of 2019 in New York City called Event 201. That clip was only a minute long, and if I hadn't told you, you'd have thought I pulled that from today's headlines. Well, watch the whole event for yourself, and you'll be terrified at how similar this war game held a month before the outbreak it describes all too closely happens. Hosted by the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security in partnership with the World Economic Forum and, of course, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, this exercise simulated a coronavirus outbreak with eerily similar symptoms and behavior to the one actually unleashed on humanity just 1 month after this pandemic war game took place. Is that a coincidence? Well, I don't personally believe in coincidences anymore. The global elites gathered to play out and prepare for exactly what is happening a month prior to it unfolding. And you can watch all of Event 201 online. It is easily searchable on YouTube and isn't hidden at all. Honestly, some of it is boring and it's very long, but if you stick with it, you're going to find it very frightening, especially if you're awake and aware to reality. This Event 201 was a very elaborate war game complete with fake news clips and science analysis. This means that they took everything into account, including media response in this drill. But there's much more than that here. In the hours of footage, you will see that what is happening right now with COVID-19 is all playing out just as Event 201 projected it to. Not just the symptoms matching or the severity of the virus itself, but the plans that are rolling out in response to the virus as well are all matching up too closely to this war game. Then you add Bill Gates into the equation, and red flags start to be all that you can see here. And we know that there is an agenda to wipe a large portion of us out, and to huddle the rest of us into smart cities crammed on top of each other like roaches. They are open about that much, and they have had many gatherings to plan out how they're going to do it. And they put all of this in plain sight and use predictive programming to prepare humanity for what is planned out for us. These predators that lord over humanity are dangerous, and honestly, I'm tired of dancing around that fact. Now, it can't be known at this point how serious this virus will be itself, or how devastating the global and economical effects of it will end up being. But I think it's very clear that we're never going back to normal. This particular article from MIT goes into a little bit of detail on what that might mean at a minimum. But as I read it, I couldn't help but read between the lines here, and let me see if you feel the same way. It starts out by saying that social distancing is here to stay, and that to stop the coronavirus, we will need to radically change almost everything we do. How we work, exercise, socialize, shop, manage our health, educate our kids, and take care of our family members. And we all want things to go back to normal quickly. But what most of us has probably not yet realized, yet will soon, is that things won't go back to normal after a few weeks, or even a few months, and some things never will. Now, this particular article theorizes that this would need to continue at least 18 months, with full shutdowns like what you are seeing now continually going on, 2 months and then 1 month off. Which forces me to ask, how much will people give up in the interest of feeling safer? And how could the economies of the world even handle something like that? How could the economy handle being shut down for 18 months? But reading between the lines of what this article implies is frightening. And it is my belief that things are going to get very bad for us in the near future, and everything is changing. Now, this honestly has been a hard time for me as a conspiracy theorist, because I am seeing everything that we have warned about for all of this time come to a head at the same moment. And honestly, it's difficult to not become the left-leaning Alex Jones and start screaming that the sky is falling. But I don't want to stir people up or cause panic, and I'm not trying to be extreme. I'm just being as honest with you about what I'm seeing unfold as I can. Now, we were at a time when a mass awakening was reaching a climax worldwide, and uprisings were taking place all over the globe. And then a pandemic rolls out, and the world goes into complete shutdown. Now, is the New World Order moving into the final stages of their plan? I gotta tell you that it is my fear that they are. We have found ourselves in a dystopian nightmare of a reality where truth-tellers sit in prison cells or hide in exile from the tyrannical forces that want to silence them for what they've exposed. Truth is buried, and propaganda is king. It's everywhere. The average citizen is bombarded with lies on a constant basis and is oblivious to what is really happening in the world by design. And the truth is being actively hidden from them, and anyone that's trying to inform people is being silenced by corporations who now control all platforms for sharing information. The whole world is currently shut down right now over COVID-19, and economies all over the globe will crumble because of that. And who will suffer? The people. That's who. We will suffer. Minimal. At the bare minimum, we are heading for a depression. Now, I, like many of you, are already feeling the effects. And as unemployment climbs and our leaders fight back against the crisis by printing out tons of money and then distributing it amongst the upper 1% while they throw down table scraps to the people, I can't help but say what this all looks like. It looks a whole lot like the elite are cashing out as the rug is pulled out from under the people. Minimal. Now, they just pulled off the biggest theft in human history and called it a stimulus package. They robbed us blind is what happened, and we are heading for financial disaster as they walk away with our money. But I think it's far worse than just that. I think we are witnessing the end game of the globalists, and that they have been conditioning the people for what's coming for quite some time. Now, I said all along that I believed Andrew Yang's whole presidential candidacy was a sham just to sell the American people on the concept of UBI. He was nothing more than a pitchman for universal basic income, and they used him to sell it and then gauge the public's response to it. Andrew Yang never thought in his wildest dreams he'd be president. He was a con artist, a wolf in sheep's clothing who was there only to sell the concept of UBI to the people. And now they're rolling it out in small chunks. They aren't calling it that yet, but they are getting people used to it as they falsely soothe them through their lying-ass media propaganda machine that this economy can survive this crisis. But it can't, and they know that it can't. And they've played this scenario all the way out in Event 201, and have figured out how to best enrich themselves during what they know is the downfall of global capitalism. Now, I could be wrong. I want to be wrong, but I don't think that I am. And honestly, it would be irresponsible either way not to sound the alarms at this point. Because I don't know for sure what is coming our way, and I can only theorize about it at this point. But what I do know is the time is now for the people to unite in solidarity and rise up against the tyranny that is holding our society back. These greed-driven predators will never stop until they have it all. That's what they want. And they want to exterminate a large number of us once they get it all. Are we going to let them? Now, I don't care if I'm overreacting and we won't soon be gathered up in FEMA camps under martial law wondering how we all ended up in this mess. We are in a class war. That's a fact. And we have the same enemies in that war. And it is us versus them. For years, skeptics have asked me over and over again who they are. Now, we conspiracy theorists do play the pronoun game quite a bit, but it's through necessity mostly. But regardless, the they is getting ready to be made very clear soon enough. Now, this little video has become more of a rant, and there's a good reason for that. And it's what is happening right now is insanity. What is going on is all so crazy, and to try to comment on it responsibly is very hard, especially since it's all happening with such speed. Now, I have struggled with how to even broach this subject honestly because I believe this is it. I think that this is the moment that we have been warning about for all of this time. This agenda that has been enslaving humanity for thousands of years. I think this is their final power grab. I think we will lose the internet soon for a period of time. Television and radio as well. And when and if it returns, it will be nothing like it was before. The internet especially. Things will go dark for us, and all we will get is official information from the state. Martial law will be enacted, and the country will be shut down. And when society resets, we will be in their new world order. I believe America as we knew it is over. Now, those are my beliefs. Those are my theories. And I've been told that that makes me a fearmonger, or even worse, means that I have no faith that good can overcome evil. And neither of those things are true. I've actually been fighting having this discussion for a long time because I want to be wrong, but I also don't want to be irresponsible and not say what I'm seeing unfold. Others are seeing it as well. It's just we all seem to see it a little bit differently. Now, there are those, the many, who believe it's all for the good of society, and they trust their leaders to ensure that everything will work out. Then there's those that believe as I do, and are saying what I'm attempting to say here, that this is the end of life as we know it, that everything is going to change, and the final blow of the authoritarian state is being dealt. And there are even those that believe through admirable faith that this is all being done to eliminate the evil forces in this world. They admit it's happening, but see good overcoming the evil in the world. The ones I worry about the most, though, are the first group, and we often refer to them as sheep. No matter who's right here, they will be hit the hardest. The majority of people fall into this category, and their entire world is getting ready to change, and we must lead that change. No matter if I'm right or wrong, change is coming either way. And this article is correct. We're never going back to normal. Now, was this all pre-planned? We may never know the answer to that, but what we do know is they planned out the response to this event and that they will capitalize off of it either way. Problem, reaction, solution. That's their doctrine, and they never let a good crisis go to waste. So whether pre-planned or not, they will use this to their will like they have always done, and this is the time for humanity to move into self-defense mode. Because if not now, when? Now, I, for one, don't want to wait around for those so-called leaders who have never shown that they represent my best interest to decide how to best care for me after they've finished milking society dry. And this pandemic could very well be a plandemic, but either way, we are facing a crisis as a united people, and no matter what happens in these coming months, we must unite against evil, greed, and corruption during it. It is time to fight back, and we are going to go from the black sheep of the family to the leaders of our communities. We must keep people calm and focused on our true enemies during what will be a difficult time for most. People are going to panic. They will be terrified, and the powerful will try to use that fear. We must not let them. We must guide the people. We must focus them towards the real enemies of humanity. It's time to show them who they are, and then teach them how to fight back against them. So keep fighting out there and protect the truth, because it will be the weapon that destroys the evil in the world in the end. And that's why they are fighting so hard to eliminate it. This is our fight, and no hero is coming to save us. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, and it's our time to accept our role. It is the responsibility of the awake to wake the others, and that's what we must do. We must inform and lead them through what is coming, and we must unite as many as we can in the class war that we are inevitably heading towards. So protect yourself in the armor of God and stand with the truth. Lead the sheep and help good to defeat the evil of the world and end the murderous greed of this corrupt society once and for all. Everything is about to change, but it will be up to us how it all turns out. This is ours, not theirs. Remember that, and keep fighting and keep spreading the truth and keep pushing for justice in this unjust world. Because good can win out in the end, but only if we own our destiny and take responsibility for our future. So keep fighting out there, y'all, and we can take this evil cabal down. Thanks for listening to me rant about what I think is coming, and be careful out there, guys. I'll see you all again real soon right here from Conspiracy Theories and Chill on Me on Things and Stuff. Alright, that was the video. I'm going to pull myself back up on the screen. And I want to hear from you. I want to know what you thought of that. I want to know what you think. That's what I think. I think we're in big trouble here. And I think we need to be in self-defense mode no matter what. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know that it is bad for the regular people. And like he said, changes are coming. Edward says 5G is the problem. COVID-19 is the cover story. They fired it up in Wuhan. Sorry for the spelling. Don't worry about it. People were falling over from lack of oxygen. I don't know the truth. I've heard that. That's an interesting theory. 5G is a weapon. 5G is a weaponized frequency. And I have heard that story. And the timing is weird on this, Steve. You're right. The timing of all this is very weird. He says it's the end times. The four horsemen are drawing near. Steve says life in Los Angeles is becoming a living hell except for the traffic, which is wonderful. And I've seen pictures of your skyline, and it looks like your atmosphere has improved. You know, they're going to try to sell that to people as good things. as reasons why we should stay isolated and stay in our homes. But I think there's another agenda at play here. I don't believe it, I don't buy it. And I'm not saying that the virus isn't dangerous. I'm saying that society can't handle it or survive what they're doing. And that it only makes sense that they are dumbing and numbing down society for a shutdown. They're openly saying they're going to do a shutdown. But I don't think on the other end of it, anything is the way it was before. I think and I don't even think, if they roll out martial law, my fear is that that never goes away. We never know life as Americans the way we knew it before. Everything is going to change here. You know, they said that after 9/11. You heard that a lot. They've been saying it a lot now. But it's very real. Everything is going to change. Lacey says, I've seen Canada is having outages. Are they really? You know, I believe that they will pull our communications and our source of information. They will pull the internet away from us. And I believe television is radio as well. I mentioned it in the video, but I really believe that's what's coming. He says, do you think 5G is the Tesla weapon? I think that they've stolen a ton of technology from Nikola Tesla, and anything is on the table when you're dealing with these people. I couldn't say for sure if it's specifically Tesla research, but I believe they've experimented with Tesla's research. They own it. You ever seen the theory? Just to have a little fun for a second, just a second, because this is the Conspiracy Theory Show. Have you ever seen the theory that Donald Trump is actually a time traveler? Did you know that there's something behind that theory? A relative of Trump's. I am not sure the exact name of the relative, but was the one that went through Nikola Tesla's research when he passed away, went through all of his belongings and notes and journals and all of that, and found what was of value. A relative of Donald Trump. So he's actually connected to Tesla's research. But there's a book that exists, a couple actually, that talk about Baron Trump and his journeys and adventures. And his dad is the king. It's a fascinating story. Steve says, I saw a video of Bill Gates saying that a malignant virus could be designed on a computer screen. You saw in the video that Bill Gates was behind Event 201, right? Event 201, as you saw in the video, was an elaborate war game playing out this exact situation a month before the supposed outbreak happened. But I've seen a lot of theories that this outbreak actually took place much earlier than is being reported and was hidden and underdiagnosed. And then there's a lot of people in different countries, not in the mainstream, but different investigations in other countries, finding that the source may not have been in Wuhan. So Kathy says, I think the earth is seeking balance. I think the Trump administration is seeking to weed out the most vulnerable. Well, it wouldn't be the Trump administration, because Donald Trump just works for the establishment. And he's a tool of the establishment. I don't think he's doing anything outside of what the establishment wants done. I know a lot of people do, but I feel like he would have a new hole in his head if he was. That's what they do to those people. That's how they got the power that they have. They assassinated John F. Kennedy and took over the executive branch of our government. They're not going to relinquish that without a fight. You know, that's why all my eggs are in the basket of the people rising up and uniting. And that's why you notice that was the theme in the video as well. It's up to us to take ownership and move this society forward. The evil that lords over us. And like I said this too, I'm tired of dancing around it. There's a Luciferian cabal that lords over us. And I've had people tell me that, it's ridiculous for me to mention religion, but these people are religious. The people that lord over us, that have the true power in this world, are deeply religious. They just don't worship the same God as you. But their beliefs affect you, whether you believe or not. See what I'm saying? So, I get that you don't believe, and I even respect it. But it's ignorant to turn a blind eye to the fact that they deeply do. They are a Luciferian cult. Lacey says, I sent you a news article on the outages. I'll have to check that out. Thank you. There's so much happening so quickly right now, all over the world. This is scary. But like I said in the video, there were uprisings happening everywhere before this virus. They've shut the whole world down. And they're saying that death tolls could get very high, especially in the United States. I hope that's not true. But so far, there really isn't enough evidence for the complete shutdown of the world. Not that I've seen. It doesn't make sense unless the global elite have decided that it is time to move forward. And if that's true, then this virus could be as dangerous as they're saying it is, maybe even more so. What if it's a weaponized virus? That's not off the table. Nothing is. I don't trust these people. And I wouldn't normally say this stuff, but we're on the Conspiracy Theory Show. This is my baby for the reason that anything is safe here. They're theories, but they're on the table because this government, system, leadership, whatever, that has been ruling society has deemed themselves untrustworthy. So everything is on the table. They've never shown that they have our best interests at heart or that they're protecting us. So I don't give them any more trust than what they've earned. Joan says, last summer I kept seeing posts from local agencies to prepare for several weeks of disaster. But is that Pennsylvania? Is not an area that should need to do that for a weather-related emergency. I thought it was really odd. They've been planning exercises inside the United States. They're planning to lock us down. They're planning martial law. They have been for a long time. This gives them the perfect opportunity to do so. Now, I hope and pray that that doesn't happen. Because if it does, then I'm right and we're in a lot of trouble. Because they won't tell us that the economy has collapsed and the dollar has fallen and that everything is locked down until it's too late. This is as much warning as we're going to get. And all the stars are aligning. If you laid out everything that truthers have been screaming is going to happen when it comes into play, it's going on right now. So it's really hard to ignore. It's really hard to turn a blind eye to that fact. Now, it could be other things. I could be wrong. We could be being misled. I've even seen it theorized that this is a test to see how we'll react. I don't think that there would be a test, but even if it is a test, tests go live. Everyone needs to be concerned. Marie says, just saw a Norway study that said there were 40 different coronaviruses identified. Of this particular strain, I know there were multiple strains. Last report that I had read, though, was far fewer than 40. But I don't know. I'm spitballing. Is there any buffering issues going on? YouTube looks like it's buffering really bad. Is there an issue on Facebook with buffering? Just anybody let me know. But this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and we could talk about absolutely anything you want. I spent 40 minutes now talking about seeing everything happen that you've been warned about. It's all happening right in front of you. It's hard to turn a blind eye to it. Susan says we're great on Facebook. Okay, good. I'll just press forward. If you're here on YouTube, I apologize if there is problems. Sometimes it messes with me. Facebook will do this too. This is weird. This is something I know they only do to content creators. But during a stream, Facebook will tell me that the video has crashed. I'm surprised it hasn't done it yet. Anytime we're talking about something that isn't popular and they don't want out, it'll happen. It's real weird. And YouTube apparently does the buffering, but they throttle. They're open about that. Kathy says no buffering. So good. We're good on Facebook. Marie says there was an earthquake in Utah. Mutations. 40 different mutations of this strain at this point. So that has gone way up. It is a very active virus, I gotta say. But I'm basing that on literally nothing. I'm not a scientist. Reading a lot of information that says that this virus is acting in very rapid ways. And I worry sometimes too much. And I only get into that on this show because of the things I know they're capable of. The things I already know they've done. And the things that they've expressed that they will do. They have an agenda. We've talked about it. We understand it. It's been written for hundreds of years what they intend to do. They've laid out what World War III entails and that they intend to collapse the American society to end our way of life. Oh, I don't believe that they will succeed. Like I said in the video, I'm not saying that good can't triumph over evil. I'm saying we're on our own. And that it's our responsibility and that we must fight. And that we are going to become the leaders of this revolution and this movement, this uprising that is going to happen regardless. Because it has to. Humanity will have to rise up in self-defense. Everything's going to get really bad. The economy's going to collapse. They're going to try to put us on a UBI, something to keep us from rising up. We can't allow ourselves to be backed into a corner like that. We can't allow what's coming. Everyone needs to rise up and inform people and get people aware. Because I seriously doubt we're shutting down the whole world over this virus. We've never done that. Ever. Can you think of a time we've ever shut the world down over a virus? Any virus, I'm waiting. I can't name one time this has ever happened. And the economy, no economy can survive what's going on. Regular people are going to be the ones that suffer. The elite, they'll never suffer. They don't. They don't pay consequences for their actions. Hell, they already probably have themselves well set up in whatever the news system is going to be. You know, we've been seen as crazy and gaslighted forever, that we're lunatics for thinking outside the box. But all that's going to become really valuable when they start taking away the truth, pulling down information, pull the internet away, black out society. People are going to start turning to us. We're going to go from being the crazy loons to the leaders. But, well, I think it's weird. This is another thing that I think is an example of throttling. And it's off topic, I apologize. But there has been upwards of 80 people at this feed tonight. And we probably have well under 100 comments. I find that incredibly odd. And I have been finding it incredibly odd the entire time. It's been very distracting. I think it's weird. Cameron says, was Silver Spoon Andrew Yang placed to manufacture consent for UBI? Yes, he was. That was his entire purpose. We covered that in the video as well. Let me share that link. I'm going to try to find it and pull it up, the link to that video for tonight's video. Check that out if you missed it, or watch the beginning of this feed. But we talked about that. Andrew Yang was a shill to sell UBI. That was his entire point and purpose. He never intended to become president of the United States. And he wasn't a progressive. He sold out the progressives the first chance he got. Andrew Yang was, his whole candidacy was theater and a con on the people. And the whole point of it was to sell UBI. That's what it was for, and that's what it was about. For some reason, my computer's fighting me. It won't let me at the YouTube link. But go to my YouTube channel and check out the video and share that, please. Get that out. That's a good way to help out the show, and I would really appreciate it. I spent a lot of time working on that video, and whether you agree with it or not, it was how I felt. I'd love to hear from you, how you felt about that video. But Susan says Australians think China sacrificed their own people to further their financial district, which COVID didn't touch. Then they said it's all a plan to buy up everything. Like I said, for me, and only on this show, absolutely nothing is off the table. I think we need to allow ourselves to explore every avenue, and these people have shown themselves to be untrustworthy. Jones says by the time people get any help from the stimulus, it's going to be too late for them to save themselves and their business. Way too late. And is this true? I haven't looked it up for myself, but I saw it a few times. They want us to pay back the stimulus with your taxes next year. Is that true? That's got to be the shittiest thing I've ever heard, especially when you factor in the fact that they stole $6 trillion, really an unlimited amount of money, because they've given themselves a license to print money. They completely ripped off the American people, is what they've done. And they gave the American people about $360 million. Not even everybody's going to get it, and they want you to pay it back? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. The balls on these people. Might not be true, though. I'm waiting for someone to confirm whether it is or not. Jones says, you can't see because you can't believe everything you read online. Jones says there was nothing odder than the way they all dropped out before Super Tuesday. This was a plan. What happened to Bernie Sanders? This isn't our political show, but that's going on right now. We got to address that. It's one of the elephants in the room. They're rigging an election in this country right now. It's happening. Every candidate, they had a stage full of shills. They all dropped out on Super Tuesday, right on Super Tuesday Eve or whatever you would call it, right before Super Tuesday, and endorsed Joe Biden. Every one of them. It was the craziest thing you've ever seen. This entire primary on the Democratic side is the craziest thing I've ever seen. But none of them supported Biden on anything like she says, and they were very against him on a lot of issues, like Kamala Harris. Joe Biden fought and supported segregationists. She was against him about that, fought against him in the debates about those issues. Did the whole little I Was That Girl skit, which was all theatrics as well. Her candidacy was a sham as well. So was Pete Buttigieg's, and Mike Bloomberg was a complete sham. You You think he really wasted a couple $100 million just to run for president? That was all part of a plan, pre-planned to stop this political revolution. Helen says hasn't heard that. So it might not be true. It might not be true. Because Joan says some are saying yes and some say no. That would be very low if you have to pay back the stimulus. Helen says, I don't think it's true because people on Social Security usually don't pay taxes and still get stimulus. Oh, you do? Well, I can't get this shit straight, honestly. There's so much. I need to read the bill for myself, apparently. Steve says they even bought out Beto to endorse Biden. Brought out Beto, yeah. No, it is kabuki theater, Cameron, you're right. It is all fake and phony. And we need to tear it down. Yeah, they don't want their gravy train to end. Marie says they were all constant on the plan to stop Bernie because they don't want to stop their gravy train. That's exactly right. They're terrified that their scam is going to come to an end. That the endless flow of money into their pockets to work against the American people is going to stop. And Edward says, speaking of they, what will they be willing to do? Sorry, a little off topic, but Paradise Fires, directed energy weapon, Georgia Guidestones. That's what today's video actually started out. I was trying to make a Georgia Guidestones video, and I couldn't stop thinking, oh my God, what if they're doing it right now? They want to wipe out a great deal of us. The Georgia Guidestones, for anybody that isn't aware of it, is a monument in Georgia. And its first expressed, etched in stone rule in 8 different languages that is supposed to be so important that it has to carry on to humanity needs to see it. This monument is built to withstand catastrophic events. One of the most important rules on it, maintain humanity under 500 million. There's close to 8 billion of us on the planet. So the Georgia Guidestones are a warning to humanity. It's not a monument. It's a warning to man. They put it in plain sight. They always tell you what they're going to do. It's part of their belief system. They believe they have to tell us what they're doing. And when we're silent, that's our consent. They tell us through predictive programming, through things like the Georgia Guidestones, and through movies and TV and all of that. They lay it all out there. It's all out there. But directed energy weapons, I think those were used in a lot of these fires. There's a lot of interesting evidence for that, especially like melted cars next to a tree that didn't burn at all. It's just very weird. There's a lot of very odd evidence there. Marie says you have the #1 backer of eugenics, Bill Gates, retire off 2 boards as the corona pops off. Is he the captain of death? Yes. He's an evil man. He's part of an evil agenda and part of an evil cabal that does intend to kill a large number of us off. Kathy says that's what I was talking about earlier. If you allow the banks to suspend your mortgage, they will have the option to raise your payments, even if you have a HUD loan. And they're pulling some crooked shit. These people are heartless. They don't care. They will do literally anything to enrich themselves and grow their power at our expense. Helen says, I think the pandemic is dress rehearsal for something else. Watching how we'll react, what we'll comply with, what some will even beg for, and especially how we'll turn on each other, which only makes it easier for them. Could be. It could be gauging our response. They're definitely milking it for everything they can. So tonight we explored what I think, and I'm hoping that will do something to cure my writer's block, because I haven't been able to move forward without getting that off my chest. That's really been a sticking point. I had to go ahead and lay it out there. I've been fighting putting it out there. So now it is, and let me know what you think and what you thought of it. But thanks for watching, guys, and hanging out. I'd keep going, but I got a text from my boss. I'm an essential employee during this crisis. I'm essential, which makes me feel so great. But I got a text that I got to go in an hour earlier than I originally had to. So I've got to wrap up early tonight and get to bed. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Please give me some suggestions on topics that you would like to see covered moving forward. I need some topics to cover. I need something to distract me. Maybe you want to hear about reptiles. Let's get into reptiles. Let's get crazy. Let's cover some other conspiracies. Get our minds off of this stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and hanging out. This has been Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I'll see you next week at 8 for another episode. Be careful out there and keep spreading the truth.